This
Go ahead.
conference will now be recorded.
So the like
Go ahead.
yeah, so like the data models file that you have shared is not opening actually. It's opening some coding thing.
No, did we talk about data models?
Okay. No, actually the file that you have shared.
Wait for them.
Okay.
We'll discuss and then you try to open it. Okay.
Venu, I have one question. I don't know whether you would like to cover it now or later on. Like in the personal information portlet, there was a global information field. So, like for the personal information, we can add and subtract field. Like we can add also, we can remove also. But for global information, from where we can add the fields, because I can see it's like
Yeah, we'll discuss. Don't worry about that. We'll discuss.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. You need to know basics first to now configure all of those things. Anything that we have discussed? Any doubts in the areas what we have discussed so far?
Areas I do not have any doubt.
Okay, then let's continue. So yesterday we stopped at configuration workbook, right? We have discussed about configuration workbook. Okay, so today we'll see the kickoff template. Implement tools and assets. Explore. Okay, scroll down. Employee Central. And I've looked at implementation guide. We have looked at configuration workbook. Third is your kickoff template. This is also very, very important. Okay, you go to kickoff template. This is your kickoff template. This is already downloaded. I have this opened. So let me go here. Okay, so this is your kickoff template. This is very important again. Now you'll be downloading this kickoff template and you'll have to present it. You know, should give a walkthrough of this kickoff template with your customer. This explains what we do in SuccessFactors, what is available in SuccessFactors, what can be configured in it. So it explains all of those things. So slides can be altered or modified based on your requirement, like whatever customer want to have, you can keep them and you can remove the unnecessary slides from this document. So it has got around 200 slides. So you can delete some of them and you can keep only those which you want to showcase. Okay, now you can add the customer's logo, you can add your name, you can modify these dates in the beginning. And then we have the agenda also. The basic template contains the agenda as well. Now, though it gives you some dummy dates like 1 p.m. You have the introduction and 1:15 you have EC demo. So these can be changed. But whatever that we have to discuss, that is the agenda here. Okay. Now, introduction to Employee Central and demo. So you need to give a demo to your customer. How will customer know what is there in the Employee Central? What is personal information? What is job information? What is comp information? Or where do you maintain employee data? What are foundation objects? So before they fill the configuration workbooks, we need to give them the EC demo and then explain them what we have in Employee Central so that they will go and update the configuration workbook. Okay, let's see what do we have in Employee Central. What is EC? The core. The base for the Employee Central is your foundation data. The first thing that we set up in the system is foundation data. Now, foundation data is a building blocks, or it is the these are the objects that are used to build the structure of your organization, job and pay. When I say org structure, now how many companies that you operate from, how many divisions you have, how many business units you have, what departments you have. If you want to have sub departments or subdivisions or functions or locations. So all of these objects are called your organization related objects, which is part of the foundation data. Similarly, your job structure and your pay structure, like your pay grade, pay components, pay frequencies, pay ranges. So these are all your foundation objects. So you need to understand from the customer what is the pay structure that they use, or what is the org structure that they use in their organization. So depending on their requirement, we may have to modify the basic org structure that SuccessFactors supports is company is at the root level or the highest level, and then after company you have business unit, and then division, then department. Under department you can have cost centers, or the geographical things like location group can be included in your org structure. So this is what your standard SuccessFactors gives you. But again, customer may come up with their requirement, like if they want to include functions, sub-functions, subdivisions, or sub-departments, that's up to them. We can add them. And all of those things, whichever is not available in the system, that comes under your custom foundation data. You can also create custom foundation objects. So SuccessFactors gives you some set of foundation objects, and you can also create your own foundation objects. Okay, now then comes your employee data. Employee data is split into two parts: personal information and job and employment information. Personal information again is divided into two sections: effective dated portlets and non-effective dated portlets. Similarly, job and employment information is also divided into two parts: the effective dated and non-effective dated. What do you mean by effective dated? Wherever you have an effective date, you can create multiple records for that employee, and these records can be shown up in the history. You will have one record which is as on date. Today you go see, it will show up whatever data that is applicable as on date. Today shows up the active record. Now there might be multiple records in the backend in the history. So you can go to history and see all the records. Like if I have, now let's say we have hired an employee in 2000. The employee was transferred after 2 years to a different location. Employee was promoted after 3 years to a different grade. Employee was suspended because of some misbehavior. Employee has taken a leave, a paid leave or unpaid leave for 6 months. So all of these records now, the records can be created in the system with that effective date. When was the employee hired? What is the date? When was the employee promoted, or when was the employee transferred? So all of these you will have in the history of the job information. Similarly, in personal information also we have the effective dated portlets like personal information, where you store first name, last name, middle name, salutation, gender, and so on. Now, even this personal information can be created with an effective date, because it's an effective dated portlet. Maybe when employee was hired, he or she was single. Later, after 1 year or 2 years, the employee got married. After 1 or 2 years, the employee got the children as well. So you have more dependents. So you can see all of these historical records of the employee in the effective dated portlets. And we also have the non-effective dated portlets, where you store only the active current data. You will not have any history. You will only see one record, like your biographical information. Biographical information which stores your date of birth. Your date of birth will not change every year or every 2 years. No, it remains same throughout your lifetime. You'll have only one date of birth. Throughout your lifetime, you'll have only one PAN card or one Aadhaar card. That's your national IDs. So there are some portlets which are not effective dated. So you have these portlets both in personal information and in job information. And if you have to see this in system, let me show you that. If I go to employee file, now employee profile, or this is called the people profile. Now the people profile is divided into multiple sections. These are all called sections. What you see here are sections, and each section contain the subsections. These are all subsections, and each subsection contain either one big block or multiple or two small blocks. This is a big block, and here you have two blocks, and blocks contain fields. Blocks contain fields. Now if you look at personal information, you see here effective as of. Wherever you see effective dated portlet, you will also see the history icon. This is history icon. You click on history, you will see multiple records for this employee with different dates. Okay, whereas the non-effective dated portlets, you will not see any history. You will only see the active record. You have pencil icon to change the data. If there is any change, if there is a change or some data is not correct, you can go change the data. But you cannot insert a record here. You can only have one record. Same with your national ID. This is not history. This is to add. You can have multiple numbers, national IDs, like one PAN card, one Aadhaar card, and so on. Okay, now similarly, you have job information where you store the employment related information, like when was the employee hired, when was the employee transferred, when was the employee, when was the data change done for the employee, what other adjustments we have done. So all of this you'll store in the job information. Okay, similarly, your comp information, you'll have salary details. At the time of joining, employee salary was 50,000. Later, employee's salary was changed to 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 with the different effective dates. And the latest record as on date record will show up here. Now the latest record that this employee has is with effective June 1st. Starting from June 1st, this is the effective record. This is the employee salary. So these are effective dated and non-effective dated portlets, and each of these effective and non-effective dated portlets contains fields which are standard, or you can also have custom fields. Sometimes your customer may ask to include the custom fields into any of these portlets. We can configure the custom fields here. Okay, and we can also have a custom portlet, completely a custom portlet also. That is also possible. Like it can be part of job or employment information, or it can be part of the personal information. That's on your employee data. And while creating or while inserting a record in job information or comp information, we will have to choose a event and event reason. Events are nothing but the transactions that we process for the employee, which we have discussed yesterday. Okay, now we have system standard events, up to 20 standard events available in SuccessFactors system. Now these events can be either include all the events can be enabled for your customer, or some of them which you don't want to use, you can hide them. But you will not be able to create any events in the system. These are standard. You cannot create any custom events. You can create event reasons for the events. This is again your certification question. What can you do with events? You can rename the events. You can create, you can hide events, and you can create any number of event reasons, but you cannot create any events. Okay. Now, what are these events? Like if you look at the employee job information, you'll see their hire event. You'll see a transfer event. You see a promotion event. You see a termination event. So these are all the transactions that we have processed for these employees. Any doubts here on employee data? No doubts? Okay. Now, some of these events that you process, okay, some of these events that you process or some of these records that you process may also contain the workflows or approvals. Now, these approvals can be of any number, any levels of approvals. Now, different processes can contain different levels of approval. Like when you change a personal information, if you want to have your HRBP approval or HR approval, and when you change or when you move an employee from one location to other location, you want to have 5 levels of approval. Or when you promote an employee, you want to have 2 levels of approval. Yes. Now, different processes can contain different workflows, and any levels of approvals can be included. Okay. Now, apart from the approvals, you can also have CC role where people gets the notifications. Let's say somebody is applying a leave, and whenever user applies a leave, it should go to manager for approval. And once manager approves, and I want to send a notification to HR saying that this employee will be on leave on so and so date. So you can configure the employee in the CC role. Similarly, contributor who contributes for the workflow. We'll talk about more on the workflows when we configure workflows in the system, or if you want to see how the workflows triggers in the system. If I go to, let's say, any employee, personal information, if I change personal information of the employee, like maybe first name or last name, let me take one employee. Okay, I have here Saurabh. He is now Saurabh. Now, if I go change the data of employee. Okay, I've changed the employee name from Saurabh S to the last name is changed from S to Singh, Saurabh Singh. Okay, now if I go click on save, it says data of birth is required. Okay, this is blank. Somebody must have added a custom field, which is mandatory field, which is asking me to maintain it. So let me maintain. It says save. When you click on save, system says a personal information change request for Saurabh is submitting, and it is triggering a workflow, and the approvers are Tessa, who is the HRBP of this employee. System is triggering a approval and is going to Tessa for approval. Now, if I click confirm, system sends the workflow request to HRBP. Now, till the record gets approved, his last name would be S, only S, not Singh. Once the record gets updated, once the record is approved, system updates the record with last name as Singh. Till then, it will be only yes. And you see here, whenever a request is pending, now system will show this record as pending. Once Tessa approves, it gets approved in the system. Okay, now let me also approve that and show you. It went to Tessa for approval. I will just log in as Tessa and approve the request. Now here we have the approval. Just say approve. Okay, now let me go back. Saurabh Singh. Now see, the name got updated to Saurabh Singh. Earlier it was showing as Saurabh S. Now this is Saurabh Singh now. And this record is effective 14. Now if I go to history, I'll see 2 records. One which was updated on September 1st, and second, which got updated on 14th of October. And you see here approval history, that this person has initiated a request and this person has approved the record. This is your effective date reportlet. Similarly, in job information also, you can trigger the workflows. When you process a transfer or when you process a promotion, system will trigger the workflows if you have configured workflows. Clear?
Venu,
Hmm.
see, in this workflows, like, can we have multiple workflows, like when HRBP is changing, submitting a request for the employee's name change, in that only approver is getting intimated, right? At the same time, can we have a scenario where even employee gets intimated and on approval again, HRBP and employee also gets intimated? Such kind of workflow, multiple workflows can we maintain?
No, I didn't get you. Now, workflow, 1 minute. Yeah, workflows can contain multiple approvals. Like here, we have seen only one level of approval. Okay. Now, if I'm triggering a transfer for this employee, okay, or promotion for this employee. If I go here, action, change job and comp information. I want to change job information for this employee starting from 1st of November. And I want to change only location. Let's say I want to change the location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And say save. Now here you have multiple levels of approval in the transfer. You have 2 levels of approval here. First, this person has to approve. As soon as this person approves, it goes to these 2 people. This is only one step actually. Okay. Now we also have contributors. Now, after all of these workflows are approved, system will also send a notification to HR or whichever person that you have configured. Now, if you want to notify user also, the employee also, yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is 2 levels of approval. Now, maybe you change. Let's say I don't want to change this one. I want to change supervisor of this employee. Okay, and say save. Oh, now this doesn't have any workflow.
Okay,
If you go
but wherever
check the job information, this is with effect to here it got approved without any workflow. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, in this case also, like Saurabh Singh will get a notification, right? I meant to say that.
Yes, if you have maintained, if you have configured CC as the employee, he or she will also receive the notification as soon as the request is completed. Now, if you have 4 levels of approval, after all the levels are completed, employee will also get a notification.
Like even if it is pending with one of the approver,
No, if it is pending, system won't send the notification. Now,
can we set
as
up in
soon
that
as
case?
no, as soon as if you have 10 levels of approval, it will send 10 notifications. Now that cannot be done. The purpose of having the notification or the notification will always triggered once the request is completed. Now, let's say there are 4 levels of approval. As soon as I initiate the request, system sends one notification to the approver that you have a request which is to be approved. If manager has not approved for certain days, based on our configuration, the reminder system sends reminder if he has not approved for 2 or 3 days. Maybe if you have set reminder as 2 or 3 days, system will send a notification after 2 or 3 days. Once he approves, the request will be moved to second level of approval, and system sends one more notification to that approver, current approver, saying that so and so has approved. Now, any initiator will be receiving person has approved. Now, first step, so and so has approved. Initiator, if I have a request, I will sorry, I lost my connection. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I lost my connection between. Yeah, so approvers will be receiving notification whenever system moves a particular step to that person. And the initiator, if I have initiated that change, so every step, after every step, I will be notified whether the requester has, whether the approver has approved or rejected. Even if he or she approves or rejects, I will be getting notification. Employee will not get notification in each step. Initiator will be getting the notification. Employee will be getting notification after the final approval that your location has been changed, or your manager has been changed, or department has been changed, or your grade is increased. Okay. So
Yeah.
one is the person who has to take action, and the another notification is the person who has initiated. So those two mails will be triggered. Okay. Now, in some cases, maybe if I don't want a workflow to be triggered, now let's say HR admin is updating the employee data. And if you don't want workflow to be triggered, yes, you can do that as well. Let's say if I want to insert a record starting from maybe 17th. Okay. I will change the last name again. Okay, and save. Now here it won't trigger a workflow. The same thing, same name change. Here it has triggered workflow, but here it is not triggering workflow. This record is with approval, and this record is not with approval. It updated automatically. Okay. And that change what we have done is future dated. So on this date, 17th, as on today, this employee name is Singh only, Saurabh Singh. Maybe on 17th of October, this record gets active. It will show as Saurabh S. Singh, the latest name. Okay.
And we know why it is like that, because if some process requires approval, it requires approval, right? So why somebody should be able to override it?
Now, if you already have some approvals, maybe somebody has taken offline approval, or some email approval is there to transfer employee, or director has director or someone has asked to transfer or promote one of the employee. They have given you written approval, or they have given you email approval. What will you do? You'll still again trigger a workflow. If you have to do from the backend as an admin, then system will not trigger a workflow. Okay, so there might be cases where you may have to insert a record without any approval. Then in that case, you can use the other route, which I have done now. See, in both the cases, I have changed last name only. But first time when I change, it triggered a workflow. And second time when I change, it has not triggered a workflow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Benu, one doubt. You have changed for the same user, right?
Yes, same
But
user.
first time it got triggered workflow. Second time it didn't trigger workflow. See, I just want to understand, did you made any changes, or how it didn't trigger?
Yeah, good catch, Vikram. So for the same employee, I've done changes. Okay, but the first time when I have done the change, I have done the change with this pencil icon. So if I go click on pencil icon with a future dated, Okay, November 1st maybe. Now, if I remove this date, I'm changing again the last name. Instead of K Singh, I'm changing it to Singh. Okay, if I try to save it now, it is triggering a workflow. Okay, it is triggering a workflow. Now, managers or HRs, they will be given access to only this pencil icon. Whereas whenever a HR admin or a consultant creates a record without approval, they'll be taking a route of history, either edit the existing record or insert a new record. You can also edit this record. You go change this record, or you go insert a new record. Now, same thing if I take here, instead of K, I'm changing it to M. Okay, now it will not trigger any workflow because I'm doing it from insert new record. This is another option. Now, this insert new record, delete or edit options will not be given for HR or manager or employees or others. They will be given the pencil icon access, but not this access.
So,
Okay.
Venu, what is this pencil icon is called in RBP, and what is this insert new record called in RBP?
This is edit link.
Okay.
Okay. This is
That one is
insert, and this is to correct. Okay.
So we know how to customize the approval workflow.
That we can, that's a foundation object. You need to define the workflow, like, go to job pay and create a workflow there. Okay. How many levels of approval you want to have and so on. So you have workflow here. That's I want to see workflow of. Okay, that's I want to see a transfer workflow. So here you have a number of approvals. Step 1, step 2, step 3. We'll discuss all of these things. Don't worry, it's too early now.
Okay.
Okay.
Venu, in this edit and insert, will the history be maintained?
History will be maintained.
Like now you have changed it to
Even if you insert a record or edit a record, system will track those changes. If you are inserting a new record, that means you are adding one more record. You are editing the record means you are changing the existing record. You are not creating one more record. Pencil icon will always create another record. Insert record will always create another record, but edit will only correct the existing record.
In this edit, there will be history maintained, right?
No, if you do this record, if I go and edit, no, instead of Singh, I have changed it to M Singh, Saurabh M Singh. Now there is no history. The last modified is this one. Now I have modified this one. Whoever has done the latest change, that will show up here. This is the timestamp. This is called timestamp. In the audit, you can see who has modified, how many times this record is modified, who has inserted a record, who has deleted a record, or who has modified the record. That can be traced. The audit report. Okay.
Yeah.
From where to check the audit report?
Sorry?
From where to check the audit reports?
Reporting. You can go to reporting and see. We'll see how to generate reports. How to generate reports, how to take audit report, what fields can be included. So all those things we'll see in reporting. That's the last session.
So last change. So last change record can be traced.
Yes.
Through where can we check that?
I'm just now told you, right? Reporting.
Oh, reporting only. Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you. Since you are curious to know this, let me create a report and show you. Let me quickly create a report. I'll just take only these three. Okay. Say done and save. I'll generate this report. I've generated report only for the employee for whom I have changed the data. See here. So in the front end, employee has got only 2 records. If I go to this employee, there are only 2 records in personal information. Okay, one with effective September 1st and other with October 14th. But this record, you can see here, there are these many records. There are records which I have deleted. This record is deleted. Okay, this record is updated. This record is updated. This record is inserted. This record also deleted. 2 records I have deleted. And the other records, these are created and these are updated. So when was this done? Last modified on, created on. This record was updated on 9/22, September 22nd. And all of these changes are done today. Now, 351, 359, 43. So this is a different time zone. So that's why it is showing up the time zone in that, because this data center is in a different time zone. So it is showing up the current time, their time. Okay. And these 2 records are inserted and updated on 22nd September.
So
Venu,
who modified this record like change?
Sorry?
So who has modified this record? Like we cannot check that.
See here. What is this? Last modified by, created by. So modified is, created is this person. This person
Okay.
created this record.
Only the
modified,
employee ID.
yes, employee ID.
Venu,
Hmm.
if you want to see only for inserting records, for this you need to write the business rule, is it? In this case,
Inserting a
if you want to see only insert records, except deletion and update records. So
You can-
for this, you need to write any business logic.
You don't have to write any logic. You just have to filter on the records which are just inserted. You'll have to take the action type, filter the action type on insert. That's it.
From the report or from the Excel?
From the report.
Okay.
Now I have extracted only for this employee, right? Because I filtered on this employee.
Okay. Yeah, understood. Yeah.
And we know whether we make the changes through edit button or through the pen
That
icon.
button, no, it will not show button. No, which button you
No,
have
no,
used
so
to change or update.
yeah, so in both the cases it will show as update only, but for the insert only it will say insert.
Yeah, insert means if there is no record, you are creating a record, then that is insert. There is already record existing in the system, you are going and making changes to that record. So that is update.
Which means, for example, if I'm going to change something which is inserting record, but just comma, full stop, something like that, it will replicate the duplicate, right, with the updated record.
I didn't get you. Now,
For example,
this is the data.
Yeah, it is a, let's say, take second record, that is third row. Okay, that is insert record. Let's say I just edited something here. Just small addition, small thing I just edited and I just saved. So so update record will be also, I can see here, right? Insert record and update record both.
Yes, both of them. Even if it is a single dot or comma.
Whatever. So in this case, okay. How database will be? It will save as a duplicate and a same record. I want to know the backend how it will save this kind of data.
I'll get you actually. Now, if I go here, this record, if I go and put some comma here, right?
Okay. Okay, let's say don't put comma, just save it. You just don't put comma. Yeah. In this case, how it will be considered? Whether it is.
Do you have the save button enabled? If you don't make any changes, it won't show up. It won't allow you to save.
So, yeah, it will disable, is it? Okay.
Only if you make changes, it shows up.
So system validate that whether it is edited or non-edited. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to your deck. Okay. And this is all about your people profile. So we can have any number of portlets. It can be a standard portlet or can be a custom portlet. That's your Employee Central. Employee Central is all about maintaining the master data of the employees. Now, apart from this data, we can also have some optional additions to employee data. Like you can have the time of data created, your leaves and absences, leaves and attendances. User can update their timesheets. Users can have the global assignment. If your customer is having their operations in multiple countries, different countries, and when an employee is moved from one country to other country for a short-term or a long-term assignments, you can trigger global assignments. Then you can also have concurrent employment. That is, at a time, if you want to have multiple employees for the employee, you can have concurrent employment. And then contingent workers, which is for the contractors. So you can also have these optional additions. Now, these may not be required for all customers, but if you want to have, we can also have it in the Employee Central. In short, this is the summary. So you will be giving this demo to your customer. So your customer will also ask all of these questions. So how to create a personal information record, how to maintain the data, can we add more fields to this portlet? What kind of fields can be added? How many fields can be added? What if you want to have a workflow? What if I don't want to not trigger any workflow? So all of these questions, similar questions will be asked by your customer as well. In fact, they will ask more because they are the ones who would be using the system. Okay. That's your Employee Central demo and about Employee Central. Then for every product, we follow a particular methodology for while implementing the application to the customer. And SuccessFactors also has got an implementation methodology, which is called the Activate methodology. Okay, and this is recommended by SAP. Again, if you don't want to follow this and you want to have your own methodology, that's fine. Okay, but SuccessFactors recommends this methodology to be followed. Okay, so earlier we used to use BizExpert methodology, or later recently they have updated it to Activate methodology. Now this Activate methodology contains 4 different phases: prepare, explore, realize, and deploy. Now each of these phases, okay, in prepare phase, you'll be doing the project preparation, like your project manager will be planning. When are we going to start the project? Who would be part of this project? How many modules is being implemented? Okay, when will we start the configuration? When will we do the UAT? When will we do the production go live? So all of this planning will be done by your project manager. And then your systems are your systems will be configured, like you will be enabling the systems, like how many number of systems that your customer want to have, 3, 4, 5, 6, what are the instances that they want to use. And then the consultants start interacting with the customer in the prepare phase, and you'll get all your requirements. Now in the requirements, you will see that there are some gaps, or if you see that there are some gaps in the in the requirement, like customer is asking for something which is not available in the system. So how you're going to fill those gaps? So you'll have to do the gap analysis. Okay, now all the configurations, whether you can achieve it through configuration, or we have to do any customizations in the system, or you're going to recommend the best practices to your customer. So you need to see how you're going to fill those gaps. And then in the realize phase, you will be starting off the configuration. Once the requirements are freezed, you start configuring the system. You do unit testing. And once it is ready, you move these configurations to quality and ask your customer to test it. You give them a walkthrough, what you have configured. Okay, and then ask your customers to do the UAT. Migrate some data, and your customer will be testing that data. Then, if there are any changes, again, you'll be making those changes in the realize phase itself. And if everything goes well, you'll be moving this configuration to production system, and that's when we call it the go live. So these are the 4 phases, and in the 4 phases we follow all of these activities, or we do all of these activities. Okay, now each phase, like prepare phase, what will we be doing? What is our role? Now wherever you see SAP, it means the implementation partner. It is not SAP always, because this document is prepared by SAP, it says SAP, but again, this is not SAP, this is the implementation partner. This is the responsibility of the implementation partner. And wherever you have a customer, let's say you are implementing for Nestle, then Nestle, team Nestle. Okay, so like this, you'll be doing all of these activities. And while doing the UAT, user acceptance testing, you will be following a 3 iteration methodology here, 3 iteration process. Now, what is an iteration? Iteration starts from creation of customer creating the workbooks. Customers will create the workbook, okay, and these workbooks are to be reviewed by the consultant, and the consultant has to, 1 minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Someone at the door, so I have to go. Okay. So the iteration always starts with customer filling the workbooks. Okay. And they will give the sign off, and the signed workbox will be considering as the requirements, and we'll be configuring that in the system. If you see here SAP, this SAP meaning the implementation partner. Implementation partner will be configuring and doing the unit testing. We'll move it to quality system, and customer reviews the configuration what we have done. Okay, now you will see a number of changes that your customer would be recommending or requesting for in the first iteration. Okay, your customer will maybe, okay, they'll come up with a new requirement saying that no, this is not sufficient, we may have to add more fields, or we may have to include one more person as the approver, or we may have to change the department name, or we may have to include one more department. So you will get all of these changes in the first iteration. You will not complete everything in the first iteration, no. So you will get a lot of changes in the first iteration. So all of these changes, again, your customer will track it in the workbooks. Again, you do all of these things. Iteration 2. And then iteration 3, you will be completing all of your configurations. You will have to sign off the configuration here. Again, at each iteration, the first iteration, what percentage of foundation objects are to be completed, what percentage of employee data is to be completed, that we have it in detail here. In the realize phase, actually, you'll be doing the UAT in the realize phase, the third phase, where you'll be migrating the data. You move the configuration to quality, migrate the data, and ask your customer to test. The first iteration, which is the define, you see the agreed foundation data, 80 to 90%. Most of the times, all your organization structure is not changed. Like if you have one company, 4 business units, or 10 divisions or 10 departments, those remain same. Maybe here and there, if they want to include one more department, or if they want to include some divisions, or they want to move one department into the other divisions. So those changes you will have. That's why it says 80 to 90% of the foundation data is completed here. Now, mostly the first iteration, you will freeze on the foundation data, and then some part of the employee data as well. Workflows, sample of workflows. Now, workflows will not be covered 100% in the first iteration. You will only have 10% of the workflows. Okay, and this is with the sum test data. Now, your customer may ask for some additional data to be imported into the system. Maybe I want to see real-time data, like what if somebody is initiating a transfer, how many levels of approvals system is triggering. I want to proxy as that employee and see how the person has to approve. So you will have to upload more data here. So in the second iteration, your foundation object will be completely done. Employee data is also almost done. Your permissions, like who should be accessing the system, what should be visible to employees, or what employees can edit, what employees can delete, or what employees can view. So all of those RBP permissions, you'll be doing it in the iteration 2. And iteration 3, whatever bits and pieces that are remaining, like your notification mails, okay, or spelling mistakes, or wherever there are some field labels to be changed. So all of these things you'll be doing in iteration 3. So third iteration, you have to complete the setup. That's your activate methodology. Any doubts here? Yes?
No, from my side.
No from your side. Okay. That's your kickoff template. Now, the kickoff template, it contains almost 300 odd slides. Okay, so we'll not be going all of this. Now it's there in the drive, you can download, and you can just whenever you get time, you can just go through the document. This is all your self-explanatory. You can go through those information. And as and when we configure something, we come to this particular PPT and look at some of the slides as well. Okay, maybe on the foundation object or maybe on the employee data or on the workflows, you'll come to this PPT and see what is to be discussed. Okay. And that's on your partner edge. Partner edge we used to download implementation guides, administration guides, configuration workbooks, and your kickoff templates. And after this, we have SAP Launchpad. SAP Launchpad is used to create tickets with SAP. Now, while configuring the customer system, if you come across any issues or while supporting your customer, if you come across any issues, then you need to create, if you could not resolve it, if you are unable to find out the root cause, you can create a ticket with SAP and you can ask SAP to assist in fixing the issues. Now, it could be the change in the configuration or it could be an issue in the system itself. And these tickets can be created in SAP Launchpad. Now, to access the Launchpad with the SUser ID what your customer has given, sorry, your implementation partner has given, you can log in with that SUser ID. But to raise a ticket, you will not be using that SUser ID. Your customer will be giving you SUser ID. Your customer will be giving you one SUser ID. You will be using that SUser ID only to log into your Launchpad. Because when you log in with this SUser ID, which was created by your customer, you will create tickets to the instances that are configured for your customer. If your customer has got 4 or 5 instances, you can create tickets. Now, while creating ticket, you need to give the instance ID in which instance you are getting the error. So you need to specify the instance. So here, when you log in with your customer ID, you will get to see what instance that are configured for that customer. Now, if you log in with your customer ID, your implementation partner ID, you will not see the customer's instances there. Only with this ID, you can create a ticket. You can create with this SUser ID also. You can log into Launchpad with this SUser ID also. But you can only create a generic tickets. Like you want to know information or you want to do something, you can create a ticket. But the customer related, it should always be with the SUser ID which is shared by your customer. Okay, you need to specify like what issue you are getting, how to replicate the steps. You need to give all the information. Now the ticket can be again priority depending on the priority P1, P2 or P3. We call it P1, P2, P3 and so on. Okay, if it is a high priority, success factors are very high. We have very high priority, medium and low priority. Medium and low only if you're getting issue in development or quality, you can have it as medium or low. You cannot say that it's a high priority. High priority and very high priority, you need to mention the reason why it is high. You need to show them the impact. Maybe your business is impacted, or maybe your hiring is stopped, or maybe your payroll process is stopped. Then they will consider it as high, very high or high priority. They'll fix it immediately if it is a very high or high. You'll have one day time, 1 or 2 days time. Medium and low, they'll be fixing it. If it is it can be if it can be fixed, they will be fixing it. But if it is taking time, they'll update the ticket. Okay, clear on SAP Launchpad? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
So do you have SAP Launchpad? If you can show it. Okay, it would be for customer, right? So
A Launchpad, we can also log in with our ID.
okay, yeah, okay.
Let me log in. Okay, I'm using one of my friend's ID. Yeah, here if you go and see, now this is your SAP Launchpad URL. Okay, now if you are getting some error, you just search for error while hiring. First, always when you know when you have an issue, you try to search for any kind of documents that are available in the system. Okay, if there are if you don't find any documents, then you go and create a ticket. Now if I search for some error, maybe you can just copy the error what you are getting in the system, you paste it here, and system will show you the relevant documents. Okay, like this one, blank error message while hiring or adding an employee. Let's say this is your error. Okay, you go click on it, and these are called knowledge based articles. Okay, what is the symptom? It contains all the information. What is the symptom, or what the screenshot of the error? Now this is a blank error. Okay, and how to reproduce this issue? When are you getting this issue? You follow the steps, you're getting error. Now what is causing this issue? It explains you what is the cause and how to fix this. This is your resolution. You have to do this to fix it. Now, if this is not the issue, then again you go search another document. First, find out if there are any KBS, KBA meaning knowledge base articles. If you could not find the error what you are searching for, then you can go create an incident. While creating the incident, you can go submit an incident, or you can also do expert chat. Okay. First, search for KBA. Okay. Then you can also download those KBS. Then if you could not find any KBS, then you can go either create incident or you can do expert chat. Expert chat, if there are any service engineers available, SAP service engineer available, they'll be assisting you. Okay, immediately. Now, if you'll have to explain in the chat, and if they can give you some resolution, or sometimes they also suggest you some KBS to follow some KBS. Okay, if they could not resolve it in the chat, they will create a ticket. The incident will be created by them. All of the chat what you do, that chat will be converted into incident. Or if you don't want to do expert chat, you go create an incident. Now try to give as much information as you can, like the screenshots, or like how this document is prepared, like what is the symptom, what is the cause, where you are getting the error, how to replicate the issue. All of those steps you need to give, which instance you are getting the error. So all this information you need to provide in the ticket. They will come back with the resolution. Now, if this is a new issue which which is coming up, they will create this incident into KBA, so that it will help others in fixing the issue. Instead of they creating ticket again for the same issue, they'll create a document and place it in the Launchpad. Okay, so we'll stop it here for today, and we will connect on Monday.
Thank you.
Okay.
And happy weekend. Happy weekend, everybody.
Thank you and have a great weekend, all of you. I hope
Thank you.
The others who are not talking, I hope you are clear. Please do talk, do ask your questions. Do not hesitate, even if somebody is asking, or even if you have the same question, or if you have not understood, please let me know. I'll try to explain it in a different way.
Venu, I have a question.
Yes.
How data will migrate from SAP HR or from non-SAP to SuccessFactors? So is
Non-SAP
that
to HR. Now, what data you want to
like
export?
employee information? What kind of employee information or organizational information or payroll information, which is
No.
already existing?
If it is data migration while implementation.
So okay, data migration will come
First one,
part of the
data
implementation.
migration. Yeah, data migration while implementation. Then you have all the templates. Like for employees data, different employee data has got different templates. Like personal information, you have a template. Biographical information, you have a template, because each of these portlets are different types of portlets. Like one of it is effective dated, one is non-effective dated, one has got only 5 or 6 fields, one has got 20 to 30 fields. So different portlets contain different fields. So each of the portlets you have a different template. So you need to extract or download the templates from the system itself, and get all the data from SAP and migrate into SuccessFactors system. Now,
So
second
from
way of go ahead.
From the legacy system, so SuccessFactor, SuccessFactor team will give some templates to download the all legacy data, is it?
Usually, customer will be giving you the data in one single template or multiple templates. Now, even if we give them the templates, they will not understand what data is to be updated. So you will have to. They'll be giving some raw data to you. Okay. Now, it is not mandatory that the legacy system should contain the same fields or some similar fields. Okay, so they will be giving the data in the raw files, like one file which contains all the information, like you'll find first name, last name, education, the manager, compensation details, all of it in the one single template, or multiple templates, like all the personal information in one template, and then your compensation details in the other template. So all of this you will have to transfer it to your templates. That's one way. That's if you're doing migration, migrating from one system to the other system. So you'll be moving from legacy system to SuccessFactors new system. Second way of data is like when you use only talent modules in SuccessFactors and the core or the master data in some other application. Like SAP, you want to use the master data, but the talent modules like recruiting, compensation, performance management without Employee Central in SuccessFactors. So in that case, you will have to upload the UDF. We call it UDF or basic file. There's a again, you can download the template from SuccessFactors system. Basic, we call it basic import, which is the UDF, user data file. Now it contains all the information. Here we don't configure any EC system, but you will be uploading employee data. You'll be uploading employee data with departments, company, location, and so on. Okay, there you are not you will not see all the information in the each employee profile, because your master data is in your legacy system only. You are using this data only for using your recruiting module or compensation module or performance management module. Okay, that's the second way. The third way is where you are using SuccessFactors as a master data and SAP or other application for your payroll processing, because you are not doing payroll process here in SuccessFactors. We also have Employee Central Payroll, which is for the payroll processing, again, which is same as your SAP HR, but it is in the cloud. Okay. Now, if you are not using ECP, you are using SAP Payroll. Okay, now SAP needs data. So this master data will be sent to SAP through interface. Now, what interface we use? No, it depends upon again your customer. You want to use Dell Boomi, or you want to use
Okay.
HANA Cloud integration, or no
Yeah.
any of these
And
applications to interface to update the data.
okay, so
Okay.
in this case, SAP HR data also should consider as a legacy, is it?
Yes.
SAP, yes, the whole information SAP HR should consider as a legacy. So
Yes.
this target system is SuccessFactors.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say through files we are through files, let's say Excel files or whatever files, we are migrating the data from SAP HR to SuccessFactors. So who will do this work and who is
This
the
will be done
eligible
by
to? Yeah.
This will be done by implementation consultant.
Means is that required any certification
No, it is.
for this?
It doesn't require any. It's part of EC implementation. Every
EC implementation.
implementation, you have to upload the data. Now, if it is a fresh company which has just started, then no, very rarely you will see that scenarios. But no, the companies, the employees exist from from the beginning of the company. Now you are implementing
Yeah.
SuccessFactors, so
Yeah.
you'll have the
Let's.
legacy system where the data exists. Now that all of this data you'll have to migrate into SuccessFactors system. This will be done by a functional consultant. We will be doing it.
Functional
I'll show you.
consultant.
Yeah, I'll show
Yeah.
you that's part of our course content. How to
Course, is it?
That's what I
Okay.
told you. Yeah, how to
So the
import
last,
employees.
yeah.
We can
The last
also
question is, yeah.
import any data, not only employee data. We can also import. It could be locations, positions. The
Yeah.
configuration can also be imported. Yeah, go ahead.
How the performance of the system? For example, massive of information we are going to upgrading and we are going to migrating, right? So how system will be update the data, the cloud system? So for example, thousands of lakhs of records of information, it is going to update in the system level. So how the performance will be? Like how much time it will take of something like
How
that.
much time it will take to different process again to open employee profile. Even if you have I have seen like employee count. I have seen 1 lakh employees. Okay, the maximum that I have seen is 1 lakh employees for Reliance.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't see any issue with the performance.
1 lakh records means, yeah, 1 lakh records means
1 lakh employees means 1 lakh employees
okay.
will have again if you take job information, each employee will have some employees will also have 10 records. Some employees will have 4 records, 5 records. So more than 4 to 5 lakhs or records. So opening the employee profile, you will not find any issue. Now, when you're uploading the data, it might take some time. If it is only 5 employees or 10 employees, you just click on import. In 5 seconds, it gets imported. Okay. If you are uploading 100 employee data, maybe it takes a minute to upload. Okay. If it is thousands of data, then it will take half an hour or 1 hour or sometimes 2 hours, because it has to validate whether all the fields has got the accurate data or not. So it will give errors wherever the data is data has got a mismatch.
Okay, so it will, for example, while you are updating the data, let's say 1,000 records, if you get any issue at the middle of 500 record out of 105 record, it will give the error, is it, in that case?
No, if you are uploading 10,000 records, system will process all the records first, 10,000 records. Now, maybe out of 10,000, if you have 500 records which has got issues. Now, at the end, after the upload, the 10,000 records, system will give you a message. Now, how many are passed, how many are failed. So you can go extract the report and see how many records failed, which records failed, and what is the issue. That you can find out.
That is a part of our course, right?
That is part of our course. Like when you do the mass imports, you'll get some errors. Now, if it is less than 10 records, system will show on the screen itself, like this is the issue with the data. If it is scheduling a job, if it is more than the threshold value what you have set, then it will schedule a job and you have to go and look at the job. You will find the job in monitor.
Oh, so we have an option called background schedule job also, is it?
Yes. Now it is not option. While importing the basic threshold value, it is 10. Okay. Now you can increase it to 100 or 1000 also. Okay. So where system shows you the errors if you have any. Here, if I just go here, and these are generic jobs, and the employee records. If you have any issues with the employee, system will show up here. Let me see. Now see here, you have 10 records which got processed, and 10 processed, 0 passed, and 0 failed. Okay. Sorry. 10 records, 0 passes, 0 passed, and 10 failed. Now why the 10 records failed? You download the extract and see what is the issue with the data. Now this is the data what you have imported. At the end of each of the record, you will see the issue. Effective date, active is not the valid enum value. The supported values are either A or I. Now you should be using either A or I, but you are using this value. So that's the issue. First issue. And you also have second one. Type code, regular position is not a valid enum value. The supported value are either you have to use one of these values. So that's the issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so backend, how this data is saving? Like for example, if you go by SAP, let's SS16 or somewhere S11.
Yeah, we cannot see that data here in SuccessFactors. How the data is stored in tables. No.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Bye. Okay, we'll catch up on Monday. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.